guys, welcome to the first episode of NASCAR's Forgotten. Now, you might be wondering what this series is about, like what is NASCAR's Forgotten? Well, that's when we look back at drivers that don't really get talked about a lot or has been forgotten with time. And that first driver we're going to be looking at for the first episode is Scott Speed. Most people know him as a rally car and X Games champion, but from around 2007 to 2014, he was racing stock cars. And we're going to dive into that today. We're going to dive into Scott Speed's 7-year history in stock car auto racing, mainly his stint in the NASCAR Truck Series, ARCA Series, and Cup Series. So let's get right into it. Our story begins in the ARCA Menard Series, or as it used to be called, the ARCA Remax Series. After not finding much success in the F1 scene, he decided to move to stock car auto racing. Obviously, he would have to get his foot wet, or toes wet, or what I don't know anymore. I'm pretty tired. Anyways, he would have to get used to the stock car, and he would start in the ARCA Menard Series, or ARCA Remax Series. I don't know, you pick. He would do pretty well, with him getting a few wins and finishing 5th in points. He should have won the championship, but Ricky Spinhouse Jr. decided to wreck him in the final race. So, yeah. Around this time, he would also make select truck starts, where he would actually win at Dover.
One more lap here at Dover International Speedway. Scott Speed looking for his first win in stock car racing for NASCAR. Could it come in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series? He's a half a mile away.
He's got it. No pressure. That's got to be a very calming voice from Slugger Labby saying, easy, half throttle, do whatever you got to do, toenail.
The nickname may stick, but it's going to be Scott Speed coming out of turn number 4. He'll win at the Monster Mile.
Man, you know, this guy actually has speed. Get it? Scott Speed. He actually has the speed. Yeah, I know, I'm not funny. Anyways, maybe if he spends a little bit more time in the ARCA series, a few years in trucks, and maybe a potential nationwide ride, he could become one of the best in the coming year. Oh, wait, never mind. Yep. Scott Speed would skip over the Nationwide Series entirely and would head to the Cup Series in late 2008, replacing A.J. Allmendinger after poor performances. And let's just say...
Look at this 28 car, that's a 38 car, all jacked up in the back. Somebody's underneath him. So much we can't even see who that is. He's going to fire up the exhaust. That's the 84 of Scott Speed that he's up on the hood. He put it in gear trying to drive off, but no traction. He's got a Ford Fusion in his windshield, and Speed able to climb out of the car.
Yep, it was clear as all day this guy was not fit for Cup Series just yet. With a best finish at 16th in the season finale at Homestead and a subpar 30th average finish, it was clear that Scott Speed was not ready for the Cup Series yet. But Red Bull had other plans. So, it would be announced that Scott Frickin Speed, who had a 30th average finish in his select starts, got dumped and redumped Ricky Spinhouse Jr. and had a best finish of 16th in the select Cup Series starts he made. He's getting a full-time ride even when AJ was actually improving. So, how'd he do at least?
Just told Barry and Artie, I said, watch that turn 1. That looks like trouble. Now, Joe Nemechek qualified the 87. He's the driver owner of that car. Speed missed the race, but the Red Bull team made a deal with Joe Nemechek for Speed to start that car, and he gets up and into Mad Max. Oh, there it is. Scott Speed. A.J. Allmendinger. Still outside. Stay in the gas. Scott Speed in the Red Bull number 82. He just gets
to this point in the race, and you can just expect it because everybody is trying to protect their position. And if they see, if you look in the mirror, you see a guy has a run on you, you're going to turn in front of him and try to block it. 8th caution of the night. He was running in 15th.
Yes, Dad.
Yeah. And you know, they come up on him, he comes up the racetrack and runs right across the hood of Allmendinger's car.
Don't say that. Just
Caution is out. 10th caution of the
Speed
day.
in the wall.
Wow. Scott Speed.
That hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you hear it?
That hurt.
That hurt. I'm
Not
not
gonna
gonna
lie.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. That hurt. Hey, how about Sam Hornish in the 77?
Yeah.
All the way to 4th. How about
Nice
this is
job.
turning into a Team Penske against Team Hendricks here when you look at this?
We're doing pretty good with these yellows right now. I'm okay with them, I guess. Doing an awesome job on these restarts, man.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a chance right here to go back and see this deal. You see the 2 car. He's already been passed by the 14. Now, as he goes down, he's got his left front right there, and then he goes up from the other angle. But you see, he's got the wheels cut to the right, so he's just run down in there.
He's saving himself
He's
all
saving
the way
himself.
up, and it just happened to be Jimmy Johnson was there to actually help save him.
Yeah, those old drivers always used to tell you, you watch him right here, this is off the corner of the 14 car. And right there, you see that wheel, and it just works up the racetrack. Those guys did a great job behind them.
Don't forget those 2 guys were kind of together last weekend in a little situation.
Yeah.
Remember Jimmy Johnson, and here's Speed. And,
Wow.
yeah,
Somebody had already thrown him.
tagged him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson's now.
Oh, trouble. 82 into the wall, landing, trying to get hard. Well, we mentioned there's been a caution in the final 10 laps in 7 of the last 10 races here, now making 8 of 11. A hard lick on the 82 of Scott Speed. He didn't have a hard time. He just can't get a break. Look at the debris all over the racetrack. Look at Mike.
Scott Speed.
Caution. Oh, more cars. Got turned around, hit the wall hard in a 16.
Everybody else limps past.
Boy, Biddle's day just went from bad to worse. Get black flag, held the pits.
Now that's been a bad day. He was running 31st.
He just pushes up the hill right there and gets caught.
That's
I think that's David Reagan, and that's the second time that's happened to David Reagan. Biffle actually did that to him earlier. And then this is just chain reaction here. Looks like the 12 is Strimmy and
Oh, man, there goes Burton
gets clobbered by Speed.
And Menard was already the first car involved. Wow, that's a big hit right there. That's good. You heard him say, "You're right." You heard him say, "Yay, bub." So that's pretty good. Menard's moving, and so are Speed and Burton.
Let's see what happens here.
A junior. Little contact.
Oh,
the
he cut a
tire.
part. Yeah. But that was due to the contact with the 88. I mean, they rubbed each other getting off the corner, and that's what cut the tire. But
He must have run over something.
Yeah.
When you look at the car back here, there's another car. If we can come back and maybe we can tell us straight. Jimmy McMurray. Jimmy McMurray.
We're under caution. Scott Speed was having a great race. He stayed out on that last caution. He was running in 9th. Kyle Busch came up to pass him. And what happened was not an act of aggression, but what happened to Kyle Busch is he tried to dive under Scott Speed going in the corner, Darrell.
yeah, well, that's what I was telling you earlier about. The hardest thing to do here is get in under somebody like that. Now, you see the 18's already, when he went across that transition there from asphalt to concrete, the car jumped sideways. But you're using so much brake right there to stay off the guy on the outside that you actually end up spinning yourself.
Trouble in turn 2. 2 cars spinning, a couple of them tangling in the process. Elliott Sadler has spun. Michael Waltrip spun.
Take a look at what happened on this one.
yeah, watch right up here. And it looks like Elliott Sadler in the 19 down the bottom gets a little bit sideways, gets into Speed, which then gets into Michael. And then
Here goes Kurt Busch around.
Casey Mears, Bruneman is there, Reagan is there, Robbie Gordon, Jeff Gordon.
It's Montoya driving through the grass.
With that caution. Boy, Brian Vickers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., that in goes on, boys. Vickers hard. Here comes Busch, the dominant car of the day, in the wall.
That was wrong.
And 10 cars sliding, slamming into the infield. Jimmy Johnson, totally uncalled for. Totally.
I don't care who you are. That was just wrong.
Caution is out. McMurray was a contender. He's all torn up. And the dominant car of the day, that of Kyle Busch, is a victim of this pileup.
I believe it was the right rear rear tire.
It appeared to be.
Scott Speed just couldn't stay off him.
That actually starts, I think, a little further up here.
It does.
Robbie Gordon in the 7 gets into the back of David Reagan in the 6, and it's the accordion effect from there. And Joey Logano in the 20 just gets clipped as Scott Speed, the 82, comes off the banking.
Boris in 82 made a serious contact.
Pretty hard lick on both those.
So, yeah, Scott Speed's rookie season was an absolute catastrophe. In 35 starts, he got one top 5, 1 top 10, and finished an astonishingly bad 35th in points. Meanwhile, his teammate Brian Vickers was contending for a championship. So, what do? You either A, fire your driver and get a better one, not like there's a bunch of promising, young, and fantastic drivers in the pipeline down in the Nationwide Series at the time, or B, you keep him on for another mediocre season. If you chose option B, that's the option that Red Bull went with, as Scott Speed would be back for the 2010 season. And credit where credit is due, he would improve, but it was still a terrible season considering he was the NASCAR driver. Though, credit where credit is due again, he did have less DNFs. And the DNFs he did have were mainly engine related, but that didn't stop him from getting in his fair share of accidents.
Always get wheel spin.
We almost had a big spin from Scott Speed.
Oh, he did hit. Pretty good. Yeah, he's got pretty good.
He smacked it. It almost looks like it's knocked the rear end over to the left.
Well, the whole right front's caved in. And you see, look at his left front tire all up there.
Here's a look, Darrell.
This thing will probably wiggle a little bit. Wiggle. Catch.
Yeah, he smacked it.
There's number one rule when you're teammates. Do not take your teammate out for any reason. And it looked like the 83 car split up just a little bit, but again, Kyle, you know, that's one thing a car owner, that's the last thing that they want to see is you wrecking out.
Half a straightaway back. We have contact on the wall, the 82 of Scott Speed, and he has not been feeling well. In fact, Eric Almirola took care of final practice for him yesterday. He had some kind of virus.
You can see some places on his left side tires like he's had some contact with another car. That may have caused this.
So not only did he feel poorly coming into the race, he feels really bad right now.
Yeah, that's correct. Awful early.
Our first caution comes out. The 82 of Scott Speed.
Come on down. Come on, bring it to the pit. Bring it to the pit. Blew up.
Hey, I see it.
Speed her up.
So wow, now it's on fire. He was running 16th, and quickly the safety crew on site.
Get out of there.
So we've seen a number of engine issues tonight on this track.
It's a tough racetrack on engines. Maintain a lot of RPM. You know, it's a lot of turns in this track. But it does maintain a very high RPM all the way around the track.
And the fire's still going on the oil underneath, and there they go.
Speed, he had stove in the front of his car and it looks like punctured the radiator.
Yeah, he cannot get to pit road because the entrance to pit road, he'll cut across and make it. The entrance is over turn 3. A lot of damage to that 82 car.
That thing is torn all. I mean, the whole nose is ripped off of it.
Yeah, no. 2010 was definitely an improvement over 2009. Don't get me wrong. Hell, he even led with almost 18 laps to go in the Daytona 500. But it was still a terrible season. 0 top 5s, only 2 top 10s, and a 30th points finish was enough to convince Red Bull to finally let Scott Speed go. But do not fret, people, because our story isn't over yet, as Scott Speed would file a lawsuit against Red Bull Racing for $6.5 million after a breach of contract.
Wednesdays at 9 Eastern, beginning February 23rd on Speed.
$6.5 million, that's how much Scott Speed says Red Bull Racing still owes him, and he's suing his longtime owners for breach of contract with his release late last year. In our feature of the week, Randy Pemberton sat down with Scott at his Mount Holly home to talk about the end of a 7-year relationship.
When did you get the inclination that you were going to be sitting here today and really not have a ride?
I guess after the last race in Homestead, when we got the facts that Red Bull's going to terminate our contract.
It was a fax.
Yeah, it was a fax. It was a very big surprise that they're going to stop everything and, we're going to be basically headed to court over it. Certainly not, the best thing for either one of us. They had a position where they had one driver basically, in limbo, me, waiting on, the status of Brian. They weren't able to commit to me either way, and they basically kept me tied down with my, hands tied behind my back for the entire season until they were sure which way they wanted to go. It wasn't fair for us, it didn't give me an opportunity to go find anything for this year. You're starting really late. There just wasn't anything left for this year. We're going to do a lot of sitting around and waiting.
Is it your contention that your contract was extended through 2011 or 12?
It was, for sure, it was extended. Lawsuits in this state, all become public knowledge as soon as things are submitted, so everyone will be able to read it for themselves. I certainly feel confident about it, at least.
Now, luckily for me, I didn't have to do much research about this. Apparently, it was settled pretty calmly in court. Scott Speed got his $2.6 million, and he moved on his dilly-dally way and went into global racing and rally racing. But this begs the question, what happened to Scott Speed in NASCAR? Now, we all know that he moved on to global racing and rally racing because I literally just said it. But what happened to his NASCAR career? Well, in 2011, he would move on to a bunch of underfunded teams, and if he was doing very badly in decent equipment, how do you think he's going to do in bad equipment? Yeah, not very good. Wreck after wreck, crash after crash. This eventually led him to retire from NASCAR and move on to global and rally racing full-time. From my knowledge, he still competes today, though there was a fiasco sometime around 2017 or 2018 where he would get banned from iRacing for being aggressive, I guess? I don't know. But yeah, this was the very first episode of NASCAR's Forgotten, and it was on Scott Frickin Speed. How would I rate him? Probably a 3.2 out of 10. He wasn't the worst thing that graced stock car racing, but wasn't the best either. This is AJ's NASCAR Hub, signing off, and have a NASTastic day.